get your life back to normal. Lonnie with Restore It Restoration.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Service Guys podcast. I'm your co-host, Ruel Abadam, and on the other end of the mic, or his mic, is Lonnie Beauchamp, our service professional out of Jefferson City, Missouri, and owner of Restore It Restoration. What's up, Lonnie?
How you doing, Ruel?
How you
Good
doing,
to catch
Pumpkin?
up with you finally, Pumpkin. Only one person can call me Pumpkin.
Yeah, you're right. And same with me. Only one person can call me Pumpkin. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. You know, just getting off, hopefully getting off of this cold and flu period, me and the rest of the family.
Right. Yeah, it's been a long winter already. As I cough. I'm not fancy like Anna and have a cough button.
Yeah, I know. It's for us here. It's pretty cold. Nothing like you know what you go through on your neck of the woods. But
we had the polar vortex. Like, Arctic vortex. I don't know what they were calling it last week. Yeah, we were below zero without a wind chill, and then the wind. Yeah, I think we got about 15 below zero with the wind chill last week.
And I'm guessing
got a little work out of it, not much.
And I'm guessing that some people didn't survive through it.
What do you mean?
Someone must have died because it was so freaking cold.
Oh, yeah. There was a few deaths. I don't know. I think 8, 10, 12 people died. I don't know. I heard something like that. I don't know. I know I'm still here, so
yeah. Not making light of death of folks passing away because of that type of stuff. It's just,
right.
It's just really harsh, and I can only imagine that, you know, there are things like that happen. You know, same with the fires that happened earlier. I mean, sometime last year in California. You know, there's lots.
Right.
And
I was all kinds of excited. I was hoping to get a lot of work out of this freezing vortex thing, and we really need 3 to 5 days of sub-zero temperatures with wind blowing to get a bunch of work right up front. But guess what? Come March, April, May, when everybody's out cleaning their patios and decks and spring cleaning their garages and stuff, I will be hammered in another month or two.
Why?
Why?
Yeah, why?
Because your outside faucets will freeze, and so when they freeze, as long as the valve is closed, you don't have a problem. But when you open the valve and you start, cleaning your decks and patios and, whatever people start doing to, get out of the winter grime and stuff, the hose bib, or, well, they call it a hose bib, outside faucet, whatever you want to call it, they'll be frozen and it'll spring a leak when you open the valve. And every time I hear the same thing. It's always, typically the guy is out cleaning his driveway and his patios and, just sprucing up from the winter grime. And he'll say the same thing every time. Well, normally this takes 4 hours, but I didn't realize I was flooding my basement and it took me 6 hours to clean what normally took 2 hours. And it, he goes, I was thinking that the pressure was really low, but I just kept going and I was pressure washing my deck, and I'm like, yep, you've been watering your basement the whole time. So
holy moly.
And this polar vortex thing will also set up we'll have a lot of mold calls come March, April, May, June, July. Usually that's going to be your old folks that, they've been out pressure washing their basements or their decks and planting flowers and watering their gardens and stuff like that, and they're watering their yard. And the older folks generally don't go to the basement very often, and they'll wait until the grandkids come in June, and the grandkids will go down and say, Grandma, your carpet's all wet. And by that point, it's been wet for 3 or 4 months, and there's no salvaging that. That's just straight up rip it out and clean up the mold and move on. So yeah, this polar vortex it's been nice. Not a whole lot of work from it directly today, but it'll be nice in March and then again in June and October, and it'll make the rest of my year.
Wow. So wow, I don't even know what to
Things
say
you
about
know.
that. Yeah, that's the season, or that's the cycle. Things freeze up,
Yep.
things break, and people don't know until it's summer and when the grandkids come and
Right.
your year is
And a
made.
lot of it can be prevented. I mean, what happens is a lot of people will leave their garden hose hooked up to their outside hydrant, faucet, bib, whatever you want to call it. Excuse me. And well, they won't know, like, the little bushings in there or something will leak, and then it'll fill up that hose. And if you got that spray nozzle on it, it'll fill up that hose, and then it freezes and goes back inside the house. And that you can prevent a lot of those frozen outside hydrants by taking your garden hose off and just disconnecting them every time when you're done for the season. Just disconnect it and boom, voila, you're done. And I can tell you this, they sell a frost-free faucet and they never work, ever. Every one of my jobs that I do is from a frost-free spigot that's outside, and they're not supposed to freeze and break, but they do.
So you're saying when the hose is left out during the winter and all the water that's been sort of caught in the hose because there's a spray nozzle on the thing, that frozen filled hose somehow contributes to actually freezing your pipes?
Yep.
All the
Every
way
time.
into your home. Okay.
All the time. Every time. Yep.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, well, you live in a climate where you probably don't see a lot of freezing temperature, right?
Yeah, not a whole lot. Once in a while, like right now, it's enough to get some level of freezing, but it's, oh God, I hope nothing's breaking at the house.
Yeah, I think it's 8. It was 8 degrees when I woke up today, and I think our high is 22.
Yeah, that sucks. It's like, I don't know, what does my thing say here? It's only like, I don't know, 40 maybe. Oh, 50. My watch says 51 with a low of 44 where I'm at. So it's nice and warm here.
Yep. I got a laundry's load of laundry on me right now. I got long johns, wool. I got wool long johns, my work pants, and a wool shirt, and 2 t-shirts, and a long sleeve t-shirt, and I'm wearing a coat.
And it sounds like you're ready to go barbecue on your front patio.
Oh, I could. I do have a gas grill. I do that in the winter. Light the grill and go back inside.
So
I don't charcoal in the winter.
I have something that nothing major, or maybe it is from your view, but so this past holidays, the family went out on trips, and I've been doing what you've recommended as far as shutting off the water main, flushing the toilets, that type of stuff, and shutting off the valve for the toilet tank. That sound
Right.
about right?
Yeah.
And so come back from vacation, turn on the water main, and
when you shut off the water main, did you turn your water heater off or to vacation mode?
I forgot about the vacation mode on the water heater, but yeah. Was there a problem there if I didn't?
Could. I mean, is it gas or electric?
I think it's gas. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, pilot light's still lit, and it's still going to warm it up to a certain temperature, and it'll boil the water out. And
okay.
Anyway,
Gotcha.
But nonetheless, your house didn't burn,
Yeah.
and your water heater didn't break, so you're good.
Yeah, it didn't. And so I haven't gotten to the point where I'm turning on the valve for the toilet tank in the master bedroom, right? And and so then at some point I notice that the floor is a little wet, right? So
under the shutoff valve.
Yeah, by the base of the toilet. Around the base of the toilet. So what I discovered was when the valve was on the shut off or the closed position, but with the main on, it revealed that there was a slow drip from the valve. But when it was in the switched on position, there wasn't a drip. And what was happening was that little bit of a drip would get under the toilet, because whoever installed the stuff, they installed the toilet and they put the seal, right, that sort of grouty seal around the bottom edge of the toilet base,
right,
except for the very back where it's facing the wall, where it's very cramped and tight. So some of this water that had dripped out made its way under the toilet enough to start to sort of come out of the little cracks that are above or around the actual sealant. So it looked like there was toilet water coming out of the base, when it was really valve water entering from the back end of the base, and then somehow making its way to some part of do you get what I'm describing? Yeah,
it's underneath at the toilet flange area.
Yeah, so it's like
in the white ring area.
So it's like, this sucks, right? So I have the thing on the on position, and I only hope that I did enough work to actually dry out what's under there without having to pull the whole toilet out. Yeah.
Well, odds are something's wet under there, and you can't dry it with the toilet sitting in place. But
and I know, and I know. I'm imagining, like, in the nooks and crannies under the floor, there's already moisture there, and what the heck's going to happen, and how much mold is going to grow, and all that good stuff. So
you know what, though, every time I pull a toilet, you know what, there's a certain amount of that just happens. You know what I mean? I don't freak out. Like, I wouldn't tell you, even if you pulled your toilet, I don't know if you have marble or marble or ceramic tile under your toilet or vinyl, but water just kind of sits there. I mean, eventually it'll rot out. Someday somebody will have to cut that patch out and, put in a new piece and pull the toilet flange and redo it, but kick that one down the road.
Yeah, I think it's sitting on what's kind of like, I don't know, marbly sort of tile, I think. But yeah,
is it marble?
I think it's marble. I don't know. I don't even know what it is, but it's definitely not vinyl.
How this is a geeky question, but how wide is your grout line? Is it like a 1/8 of an inch or less? Is it really tight, or is it like a quarter?
Yeah, I think it. No, not a quarter. I think it may be an eighth.
That's the quickest way for me to know if you got a natural stone like a granite or a marble floor is I look at your grout lines. If they're really close, like an 1/8 inch or less, then that tells me it's a natural stone. If it's a 1/8 inch or 1/4 inch, then it's going to be a porcelain, ceramic, or something like that.
Huh. Okay. Maybe.
Speaking of which,
what?
Yeah, since this doesn't pertain to you, but I had a friend reach out by the name of Sandra. Hi, Sandra. She she was asking me about a trick to clean your own grout lines if you have ceramic tile. And
Okay.
so I thought I'd give her a shout out and tell her how to clean her grout lines. And also, I'll tell you this, there's a difference in grout. There's sanded and unsanded grout. Whenever it's an 1/8 inch or less, when it's really close, that's going to be unsanded. And that tells me it's a natural stone, because I could come in and polish those things up so slick that like you could, they become mirror finishes. Just they look like wet glass, If you got a 1/4 inch or so of grout lines, here's a tip for you. Mix up some hydrogen peroxide and baking soda into like a workable paste, not so thick that it sits there like a lump of wet clay, but just work it up wet enough that you can work it into your grout lines, and you wipe it in, and you take a rag or a mop and work it in, and then you rinse it off and wipe it up, and your grout lines will be nice and pretty.
There you go. That's the it's nice to hear about grout lines. And
Yep.
That's there's a tip for the audience, for the listeners.
Well, you were talking about toilets and didn't know if you had granite granite's marble's going to be on the floor, and granite will be on your countertops because of the acids. You don't want to put any kind of vinegar or anything acidic on a marble. And where I was giving Anna Vicino a hard time because she actually has marble countertops. And I said, that's going to be a nightmare because, just even the acids in tomatoes, if you leave a tomato laying on your marble floor or countertops, you'll have a ring laying right there. And sure enough, she's had a few issues. But your marble, that's on the floor, since you don't use a lot of vinegars and acidic fruits and veggies and stuff like that on the floor. That's why they put marble on the floor, granite on the countertop. Another little quick tip.
Gotcha. I took a video of my situation, and I thought I'm gonna have to show this to Lonnie. This was back in kind of early part of January, and then I thought, well, I think I'll be safe. I'll hold on to the video, but I can send you like a screenshot of what the tile looks like under the toilet. But just wanted to let you know that I had that. Yeah.
Yeah, there is a double-edged sword opening and closing your shut-off valves. If they've never been closed, excuse me, and then you start closing them all the time, that packing nut in there sometimes will work loose, and you need to get a crescent wrench and tighten it up a little bit, and that will usually fix the little small leak that you have going on with your shut-off valve.
Oh, okay. I should look into that. It just freaks me. It freaks me out when it's on the off position. It's actually dripping water.
Yeah, they just, it's like anything mechanical. They fail. And if it's never been shut off and then you start moving parts inside there, then, seals get loose and, so it is kind of a double-edged sword. But anyway, I think you'll be fine. I have seen so much leakage going on around a toilet, though, that I have seen a toilet fall through the floor joist into the floor below. I have seen that. That was pretty interesting.
That's horrible. I hope nobody was sitting on the thing.
Well, of course they were.
Oh my God. That's what I was thinking. That this is water coming from the valve and just kind of flowing, seeping under and then through the sealant. Just was thankful that it actually wasn't like poop water and stuff. So is that
yeah.
Oh, no. There you are.
Nope. No, I was listening, and then a horn took over for a second, and you must be recording out in the car.
Yeah, out in the car in the freezing California weather.
Yeah, cry me a river.
Let's see.
Cry me a river.
We got to think about getting a guest on the show.
I got a couple in mind. Just didn't know with you being sick and chaperoning kids and running. Did you run a thing, or were you too sick?
I was too sick to do anything. I am signed up. If you're talking about sort of like my running sort of exercise type thing, yeah. I am signed up for next Saturday to do an event, and that'll be my first event of the year. And so far, I've only gotten 2 runs in for the year, so I'll be going in majorly undertrained and having recovered from a whole lot of vacation and getting sick. So yeah, I'm just trying to be as healthy as possible so that I can beat up myself out on my runs. But thanks for asking.
Yeah, I can't imagine signing up to go run. If you ever see me running, you better run, because I don't run, and something major is going down if I'm running.
Okay, that's good to hear.
Yeah, seriously. My friends know me. I don't run. I still have flashbacks from wrestling days. In all of high school, I never got to participate in whatever PE activity that was going on, because either my wrestling coach was my PE coach or one of his friends. And so me and all the other wrestlers, we had a huge stadium with lots of stairs, and that's what we ran. We did that the whole PE period, was we ran stairs. And to this day, I hate running. I hated running then, and I hate running now, and I don't have to run now, so I don't run.
It's
it
fun.
was always like Beauchamp, stairs. Lamberton, stairs.
I think that's common. Even, I ran cross country in my sophomore year and my junior year of high school, and I hated running, but I was doing it mainly just so I can hang out with my friends who decided they wanted to go running. So it makes me wonder if we all hated running, but we all put ourselves in that situation so that we can hang out with a bunch of idiots. But that opened up where now I have to play soccer because they're looking for folks to join the team, and because folks like me came from a cross country background, it would make sense for us to, run up and down the field like crazy people. And then
I did play soccer for a while. I was pretty decent. I was forward, and I was pretty decent at it. That was fun. I liked running for, sport. I played basketball, I played baseball, I attempted football. I could never get where I needed to be. I only did that 1 year. Wrestled 5th grade to 11th grade. For me, wrestling was just that was the king of all high school sports to me. I mean, it was anaerobic and aerobic, and every October, November, the football players would come in from football, and they'd, if they wrestled, they were sitting there coming in acting like they're all big and bad, and like, well, I'm a football player, and we're like, yeah, I can mop you with the floor and not even break a sweat. And they're like, oh, I can bench 300 pounds. And we're like, doesn't matter, dude. Not when it comes to wrestling. It was like 4 hours of high endurance aerobics all day, every day, 6 days, 7 days a week. And then they'd come in like, we could whoop a football player's ass fast.
Yeah, I mean, they're like opposite efforts, right? Football players, they're hitting something, and as a wrestler, you're grabbing something.
Right, and you're going. I mean, it's a wrestling match is 6 minutes of just pure adrenaline and aerobic, and there is strength, but it's mostly technique.
So this is probably why
it's not brute.
So you're in crawl spaces, and you're basically in a familiar position, kind of low, and working your craft, whether it's wrestling or if you're looking for something in some weird tight low space.
Yeah. Yep. I don't mind weird tight spaces. In fact, I pulled out a dead mouse last week. It was so funny. I had to wade through 12 inches of water to in sub-zero temperatures to get to this dead mouse in a crawl space. But I put the suit on and I charged extra to crawl in that crawl space to go get that dead mouse. But sure enough, pulled out a dead mouse.
Would you say it was a mouseicle?
Mm-hmm. Oh, he was frozen and he stunk. Oh man, did he stink! Had one vent. The guy thought it was in his air heater vent, and so I crawl in the crawl space and figure out that no, this is all water, and I make it over to the vent, cut open. He had a plastic barrier. I just cut it open and reached up there, and I'm smelling. I was like, oh yeah, this is the right one. Thought I was going to have to dismantle the trunk line or the supply. Actually, it's called a lateral line if you want to get geeky. I thought I was going to have to dismantle that, and I was sitting there thinking I was going to have to go get a Sawzall and cut it into it, and then put a Fernco on it, make it, get into it. It's like, no, I'm just feeling around, and I'm looking around to see how to get into it, and I see this tail laying right on top of the supply line for the furnace, and I see this tail, and I just pull it out and threw it in the bag, and I was in and out in 20 minutes. Sealed it back up, stapled it, and taped it, and I was off and running.
So that would be a dead animal cleanup on top of what you were originally there for?
Oh, no, he called me just to find the dead animal in his crawl space.
I see. Yeah,
it was isolated to one room was smelling like, a dead carcass, and you wouldn't think in this time of year, and as cold as it is, that it would stink as bad, but I guess there was enough heat going through it that it was keeping the juices flowing, let's say, on the dead critter, and just pulled it out, threw it in a Ziploc baggie.
Mouse
about
juice.
My day.
Awesome. Mouse juice. Remember my mouse scenarios in my garage, all the field mice every now and then.
I was laughing at you forever.
I still have traps out, and I still look out for if any shows up, especially now that it's super cold, because I don't know if mice sort of huddle up, hibernate in their own kind of way to keep them away under these colder conditions. But for a while, what I was doing, and I don't know if I mentioned it before, I would take the dead mouse, and I used to stick them in the green cart, but it would just stink to, as you would put it, to high heaven, right? Dead animal in a closed container in the middle of the year when it's heating up. It's just gross. So I've been taking all of these dead mice and just throwing them out off to the side, like under some bush or some plant or some hedge, and just sort of let it be out in the open air and let it decompose naturally.
Let nature do it.
Yeah, and I figured that out because of everything that you've been describing. And sometimes I'll have like 2 or 3 mice piled up under some bush. I'm thinking at some point something's gonna rip that thing apart or take it or snatch it, and I won't have to see it. And sure enough, I don't see mice skeletons laying around. Yeah, some natural process happens. Whether it's
if you want to be if you want to freak your wife out, next time you catch a mouse, throw it in a Ziploc baggie and then throw it in your freezer and freeze it, and then it won't stink. You just put it in the trash can the day that you're going to wheel it down to the street, and it won't stink.
Yes, that would freak her out. Honey, can you grab me that baggie of the dead mouse right behind the frozen chicken barbecue skewers and the ice cream?
But seriously, we all have. Here's another nice little tip for you. We all get that that leftover something that we didn't eat, and trash day is 4 days from now, and you don't want to smell dead, rotted, whatever it is in your trash can. So with food, I really do throw it in the, put it in a container that I'm going to throw it away, and, Ziploc or whatever it is, and throw it in the freezer, and then put it in the trash can the day of. Even in middle of July, it doesn't matter. Freeze it up, throw it in the trash can. You don't have to smell the nasty, rotted leftovers that you forgot to eat that got shoved back behind, something that you didn't see for 4 days, 5 days, and it's all rotted. And so seriously, I was kind of joking about throwing a frozen mouse in a freezer, but the same thing happens with food. I mean, we all have that leftover snafu, and we intend to eat it, but we don't. We get caught up in work meetings or unexpected events, and next thing you know, it just doesn't get eaten. So there you go. There's another little tip.
Yeah, I actually like that tip. I think it's important for folks who, I for some reason have a massive green cart, so I could stand to put leftovers in the thing and have it sit out, and I don't have to smell it. And for some reason also have a massive garbage cart, so if I needed to dump it in the garbage, I could stand to do that too. But for folks who don't, and want to keep that stuff from stinking up for most of the week, that makes a whole lot of sense. Put it in a disposable container and freeze it until garbage day.
Yeah, I do it all the time. Whenever the need arises. Yep. Yeah, you never know what we're going to talk about when we get together.
Yeah, because I think we just glossed over when we were starting to talk about possibly getting more guests on the show, and you had some people in mind.
Yeah, I got a few people. We can talk offline though.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Kind of line out some schedules of when you're not running a race and stuff like that. So what else is shaking with you? How's work going for you?
Work is good. It's keeping me busy, but I think more importantly is restoredrestoration.com is getting a website redesign, and most of the work has been done.
I'm liking it.
And I'm happy to hear it, and I'm excited to help get that rolled out. So we can share that with the rest of your customers and followers.
Yeah. Did you get to watch the Super Bowl last Sunday?
I saw first, second, and a good chunk. Well, maybe half of the halftime show, and then I had to take all the kids, load them up in the vehicle, and head home. I heard it was from what I saw, it was very, very exciting.
You thought so? I heard it was boring, but you know what I was doing during the Super Bowl?
In the crawl space?
Nope. I was cleaning up sewage water.
That's a Super Bowl.
Yep. And the Super Bowl was going on in the background. We were just sitting there working. And here's the funny thing. Like the name of the street is different. It didn't ring any bells to me, but when I pull up to the house, I'm like, I think I've been here before. And so I meet the lady, shows me what's going on. We go downstairs, and I'm like, this looks familiar. And then I go into the mechanical closet where the sewage was coming up through the floor drain, and I look, and there's already holes in the drywall from a previous water damage. I poured some holes to get some airflow in the wall cavities and stuff. And then I'm looking around, I see this big patch on the walls. Like, I've been here. I had done a dry out service for the same house 2 owners ago, about 14 years ago. I was like, that's kind of cool that, 14 years later, I get to kind of inspect my work, and I'm looking at behind the baseboards, I pop them off and stuff, and like, nope, there's no mold here. I'm like, good, I did my job. that happens a few times a year, but every so often I'll do a water loss for 2 different owners at the same location, but this one had been enough ago that's like, have I been here? And then I was asking, I was like, did you paint these walls brown? Because I remember a brown wall, and they're like, no, it's been like that. I'm like, And then talking to her is like, we bought it from so and so, and they bought it from somebody else, and and then it's that's the name I recognize. I was like, yes, I've been here. She's like, That's kind of cool. I was like, yeah, I think so.
Sounds really cool. We were at we had the night before Super Bowl. We had some of my wife's. Well, we have my wife's cousin over and his family to do a sleepover. They have 4 kids, so all our kids and their kids, all cousins and stuff, get to hang out, do
Cool.
sleepover. Yeah, and we made some traditional Filipino food in the Instant Pots, and we just spent a good amount of time. And then the following day, which was Super Bowl day, we all headed over to a different cousin's house, and that's where I got to watch the Super Bowl. And I don't know if I mentioned, but I helped my wife set up an online bake shop, and
I knew that.
So we delivered a care package to her cousin, who's really her niece, over to this other place, and she was losing her mind during the Super Bowl because she was digging into the boxes and trying to figure out what was, what she was given. But yeah, that was pretty much Super Bowl time. We didn't pay attention to a whole lot to the game. It was just hang out with cousins and kids hanging out with kids, and it was good.
Sure. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I got a call about 3:30 and didn't get done working until about 8:30 or so. And by that point, I was too tired and exhausted and filthy and nasty. I didn't even watch any of the Super Bowls. I mean, it was on in the background, and I knew that the Patriots were up by 3 for the longest time. Then I don't know what the final score was. I know the Patriots won, but that's all I know.
Good. Yeah, that's pretty much what I know.
Yeah. But
I'm a big fan.
It was an exciting time for me because I was like, yeah, I get to dry out a house I did 12, 14, 15 years ago. It was a long time ago. But, yep, same. Well, not the same scenario. The first one was a air conditioner line backed up and flooded out their basement, and this one was a sewer line backup. So, yeah, I'm a geek like that. Work is my hobby.
Wow. Well, it's good to hear that, you're getting a lot of work, and sorry to hear that. There's a lot of people having problems, but that's where you're there to help, as you say, get life back to normal. Right.
So, yep, one day next week I'll be putting carpet back in this house because I'm going to quiz you now. What's Category 3 water?
Isn't that sewage water?
Yes. And what do I have to do every time on a Category 3 sewage loss?
Gotta clean that shit up, man.
Yeah. I have to cut out all the carpet and pad and take all the tack strip and cut out the sheetrock and that sort of thing. Anything porous, I can't clean like that. So.
Okay, that's what you meant.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I failed.
I'm just saying, if you pay attention, you must not listen and hang on to every word that I say because you should have known that, Ruel.
Yeah, I should have, and I've heard it before, but I just didn't cling on to it. Bad me.
Yeah, I'd have to fire you. Now, you know what happened this week, though?
What happened this week?
So one of our friends, Jackie Jones, she is, I'm giving another shout out here.
Jackie
Jones is a dear friend. She is one of the best people I know. Monday, I got a care package. She sent a box to me, and she sent some gifts to my mom. And mom loved those. Immediately put the trinkets in the window. Jackie sent a few little trinkets and some stationery stuff, and the stationery got set right by her where she sits every day, and she's taking notes in the notebook thing that she sent, and then gave my mom a nice little card and gave my mom some tears of joy just because she's like, wow, I don't even know this lady. I'm like, exactly, Mom. There's good people in this world. And then Jackie sent me some Reaper pepper sauce, and that stuff is good. It's warm. It's very hot. It's one of the hottest, if not the hottest pepper in the world, but it is very good. But I just want to give a nice little shout out to Jackie and tell her that was very unexpected and very appreciated to know that she's sending my mom some love going through chemo and cancer and all that stuff. So yeah, so that was exciting this week, is like unexpected. Here's a little care package, and it was nice.
I like that. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that. That's a really good thing. Jackie's awesome.
Yeah.
And she's
Tosh
been
Brown.
and she's been more. Beyond what you've described, she's expressed a lot of other generosity. But yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I don't want to embarrass her, but yes, she has donated to the GoFundMe page that Serena set up and stuff, and yeah, very nice. And I don't think I told you this, but January 25th was my mom's very first chemo treatment, and Tosh Brown, do you know that name? She's from Australia. She's part of our group. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
She's a riot too. She another dear person, just all the way around. She calls. I'm literally picking my mom up for our very first chemo treatment, and Tosh calls me on Messenger, and I took a moment, took her call, and she just reached out and said that she was thinking about us, hoping for the best, wishing us the best, and then she wanted to she asked if it was okay to put my mom's name on a prayer list, and by all means, yeah, I said sure. And then she actually made my mom cry that day too, because she's like, you have somebody from Australia, and whenever I said, I don't follow all the time zones and stuff, but I knew it was really, really, really early for Tosh, and it was 2 a.m. her time, but she said, hey, I was awake and just wanted to let you know I was thinking about you and your mom, and so when she called, I said, well, what time is it? She said, it's 2 a.m. my time, mate. How? and I was like, wow, 2 a.m. and so that was touching as well. That was you and I haven't really talked forever, but I was like, wow.
Yeah, it's nice to hear the kindness from all these folks, and it makes me realize that I not to toot my own horn, but there's something about what's going on with your mom and your family that it has occupied my mind a lot as well. So I guess there's a whole community out there who's heard the story and having to lend their support in so many different ways.
Yeah, and you know what I'm finding out, like sometimes, as dealing with your mother-in-law when she was sick, sometimes you feel like you're by yourself, but then and you're not. But what I'm finding out is there's a lot of members of this club, the caregiver club, and people don't realize what all's involved. I mean, just yesterday, I don't know if this is a nationwide thing or a state thing or what, but for my mother to get one pain pill, it takes me 4 trips to get it picked up and delivered to her. And it is irritating to sit there and think that, what I'm talking about is, my mom's on class 2 narcotics, opioids and stuff for her pain, right? So for me to get this script, I literally have to go to the doctor's office, pick it up. Then I have to drive to the pharmacy, drop it off. And then I have to either wait or come back. and usually it's a 2 or 3 hour wait. And so I come back. So there's trip number 3. And then I go back, pick it up, pay for it, whatever I got to do. And then I have to drive it out to my mother's house. And it's like, wow, that's 4 trips. And just for one pain medication. And that happens weekly. At least in our state, it's they can only script a week's worth of narcotics at one time.
And they can't
wow.
And they can't digitally send the script to the pharmacist?
Apparently not.
Huh. That's crazy. Yeah. What
blows my mind.
What are folks to do who don't have, like, your mom has you? Well, what about folks who don't have that other person in their life? How are they going to get all this stuff?
I don't know. I have no idea. I've thought about that. Kids move away, and or family members die, move away. There's 1,001 reasons why people don't have somebody around, and you can't just ask. You can't always ask friends, and yeah. I don't know. It's a mess.
Yeah. Well,
and maybe we're talking like everybody knows what we're talking about, but you want to fill in people what we're talking about?
Yeah, basically, very recently, your family learned that your mom has a really aggressive form of lymphoma, and she's going through chemotherapy, and it's the way you described it. It's y'all's new normal. So what that means is you're having to balance very delicately caring for your mom, running your business, and taking care of your
my family. You're right, right. And then Serena Scott Thomas, one of our friends, obviously she had some help from me. She didn't get my wedding photo or nothing out of thin air. She started a GoFundMe page for us to try to help offset some of these costs. People don't realize, man, you think you got great insurance, and then you start realizing what 20% copay means of a $10,000 PET scan. It's like, oh, that's $2,000. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. That's what it's all about. And now I guess we've never really talked about it on the show. So the listeners can get access to the GoFundMe. They should get access to the GoFundMe. And we'll share that for sure.
Yeah, I think it's pretty well dried up. I think the GoFundMe is pretty much done, I think. But it was awesome of Benny and Serena to make some nice donations and show some love.
Yeah. Serena, Benny, Anna, Andy, the folks in Italy, Phil Capelli.
Yeah, Stephen even sent me 2 bottles of olive oil, which has been awesome because I literally do cook mom's food in the olive oil. Her nutritionist her menu is so limited because she either A, can't eat very much, or B, a lot of food to give her problems. And so yeah, anything that's cooked up is always done in olive oil just to get some healthy fat in it. And it's worked.
That's good. I'm glad that that folks have been generous, and I'm glad that you're there for your mom. Yeah,
so we need to end this on a higher note than talking about stage 4 cancer.
Yeah. How do we do that? Damn it.
I don't know. We should have maybe thought about this a little ahead of time. I didn't mean to go there, but
no, but it's
obviously I can't stop thinking about it. So
yeah, it's just, you're just being real. I mean, there's a level of show, but then there's it's still life. This is still life. Someone's going to pick up on this, and they're going to relate. But yeah, so on a high note, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Well, I'm glad that we're back off on the podcast after a brief hiatus. Looking forward to 2019 and where we can take the Service Guys podcast, and more ways to promote other folks' businesses, and obviously to promote restored restoration and maybe a little bit of what I do over with web and graphic design at Abadam Studios.
And I really am loving that. I know you've been getting kind of one-word answers, but I'm liking it. It's looking good.
Oh, awesome! Yeah, I know you enough. The one-word answers mean a lot, But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for that work to showcase your company, Restored Restoration, in a new way, and happy to do that.
Yeah.
Cool. You want to wrap it up?
No, I'll let you do it.
Okay. Well, thanks everybody. This concludes another episode of the Service Guys podcast. If you like what you hear, follow the podcast. Subscribe and leave a rating and review on iTunes and Google Podcasts and all that good stuff. We're on social as Service Guys Pod on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And Lonnie?
This has been Lonnie Beauchamp with Restored Restoration, and I want to tell you, get your life back to normal.
Go get your life back to normal. Lonnie with Restored Restoration.
Hello.
Hey.
What's up, Ruel? How you been?
I'm good. We're recording.
I heard that.
Oh, good.
You finally got your head cleared out and you're not sick anymore?
Yeah, I just got a little bit of a nagging thing in my chest. Every once in a while I gotta cough to see if I can clear it out. Yeah,
and I'll tell you now, I might be coughing in this podcast as well. I've been kind of sick too for a while.
How's the family?
Family's doing well for now. I think I'm sick. Yep. I'm sick from sitting in my mom's house for 2 to 24 hours. She smokes in her house, and I think it's caused me to get kind of sick.
Yeah, and just when you least expect it, when you're pretty worn out and exposed to a bunch of stuff, you wake up with that sore throat, and it's all over.
Well, that's where I was last. I guess it was a week ago. I woke up one day with kind of a sore throat, and I went in. They're like, "What are we here for?" And I'm like, "I'm either a month and a half behind, or I'm early." And they're like, "What do you mean?" Well, since I've been sitting out at mom's for so much, I've been having a lot of just green snot and drainage and just funk coming out of my face, sneezing and coughing, and I just dealt with it thinking it's just being in her house. And then but then when I woke up with a sore throat that was different than normal, it's like, let's go get a script, because mom is on chemo and I can't just I can't expose her to something. My daughter, my baby, she went from having the flu to pneumonia, so she'd missed like a week and a half of school, and I'm sitting there thinking, man, if I caught something, that just go knock it out. And so here I am, still kind of coughing and having a bit of an issue. Sounds like you are too, but
yeah, we're both dying, but we're still committed to recording a podcast. And so
in between babysitting kids chaperoning kids and being sick.
Yeah, the listeners will appreciate the passion and the effort and all of that good stuff to put out this fabulous content.
Yeah, I've had a few people reach out and say, "When are you doing another podcast?" It's like, timing right now is just not working out so well. It was holidays, and then sickness, and then my family drama, and so here we are. Why don't you kick this show off?
Okay.
This has been another Coffee with Heavy Cream production,